Hi, folks. My name is Robert Mayo, and it's my privilege to serve as principal at Exeter Union High School. Last night, we held a forum to specifically talk about our new distance learning bell schedule. Uh, Unfortunately, there was a problem with the recording, and I missed the entire first half. And so I wanted to just take an opportunity to explain the schedule right now in this forum while it's also posted online. The other recorded session is there, so you can hear some of the questions and answers, and also the Spanish version as well. But I did want to take a moment just to talk about the schedule and provide some greater information. As we look at that schedule, we see that we have made some adjustments, and in some ways, some may view it as dramatic. It's really looking at something to create a better learning environment for our students. And I think when we initially look at this schedule, it does seem a little like, wow, we've really extended those learning periods. And how much time now does the student have to spend with the teacher and on Zoom? And so I wanted to just explain a little bit more of this. So students are going to be beginning school on Mondays. And instead of starting at 11:30, they'll be starting at 9:15. They'll be meeting with all of their teachers, and I'll provide a further explanation as we move through this presentation. On Tuesdays through Fridays, they are also going to be beginning at 9:15 in the morning as well, but they'll be finishing up at right around the same time, and I'll show you the comparable side-by-side schedules. During our fall semester, we had students and we met with them Tuesdays through Fridays on the schedule. And whether it was an odd or even schedule, they had about a 50-minute class period. Started at 10 o'clock, went till about 10:50. There was time for teachers to interact, to provide some checking for understanding, students to maybe demonstrate their learning. And so that was really what the design was. And then we had office hours and help opportunity built in after lunch at about 1:35 to 3:15. When we look at this new schedule, what we're doing is we're eliminating that office hour time and building the support directly into the class period. And so that's where the periods now appear longer. And so because those periods are longer, we're also had to change and adjust the start time from 9:15 to 10:25, example for period one, versus what it was prior. But what I really want to spend time on is when we really drill down into what that schedule means, and I broke it apart in this manner, is that we're still going to maintain a 50-minute instructional time, 9:15 to 10:05. Yes, we're still starting earlier, 45 minutes earlier. But then there's that opportunity for additional support. Now, perhaps that student they're having no problems with their school. They're understanding all the lessons. They're caught up in all their work. They very well may be dismissed at 10 o'clock, 10:05, and they're dismissed until their next period. But it also provides, while students are still in that Zoom that need that additional support, that we don't have to worry about them signing out and then later trying to sign into office hours. Now it's that opportunity for the teacher to interact with them right there and then, to be able to say, hey, Bobby, let's spend a little bit of time and look at that thesis statement and look at your points that you're trying to make, and allow that time to organically develop a little bit longer and provide that extra support time. Or perhaps that student that has that full understanding and they're dismissed at 10 o'clock and they get started on some of their, maybe it's a math problem or and they're looking at the work and they're like, gosh, I'm confused and I have some questions, and they look up at the clock and they're like, it's 10:10. They can jump right back into that Zoom session with their teacher and be able to ask that clarifying question to help them be successful on their homework. And so that's where we're certainly not looking to talk to students and talk to them for 70 minutes at a time. We're looking to really just build that office hour support immediately after the class. One of the other components that we heard was during office hours that the students, there would be, as teachers teach different levels of instruction. So a teacher may be teaching English 10, 11, and 12, that a 10th grader goes in, but some of the conversation is there's 11th graders and 12th graders in there. And sometimes that 10th grader feels intimidated to have to ask those questions. And so this also makes it specifically to that period. I know there's been questions about what's this PD, PLC. This is for the teacher side. This is that professional development and their time. We also built some time in for them if they need to reach out to a student. that they have time built in at the end of their day, as well as also their prep is shown and demonstrated here at the top of the schedule. Mondays are different. And before, we were having kids meet at 11:30, and they went till 1 o'clock. When we talked to both students and to teachers, everybody felt that they had a greater connection with that fifth period, whether it was the fifth period students or the fifth period teacher, because this was time that there was kind of less academic conversation. It was more of that getting to know you, those experiences, checking in. And in looking to how do we develop a schedule that's one also consistent. It's kind of different that we had one day started at 11:30 and the other day started at 10. So how do we create consistency? But the other component that we looked at was if you had a period 2, 4, or 6, you wouldn't see your teacher until Wednesday. And teachers and students both felt like if I saw my teacher at the beginning of the week that set those objectives and what the goals were, that would be helpful as well. And so that's where we built in these 30-minute periods starting at 9:15 and then being able to meet with those teachers, set the goals and the objectives. It's not an additional teaching period, but it's about setting those goals and the objectives and what we're going to be doing for the week, and then being able to have some additional conversations and getting to know you and trying to solicit greater responses and build some of that online distance relationships as best as we can. So just wanted to give a brief explanation regarding the schedule. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the office. You can speak to me or any of our assistant principals or counselors, and they're happy to guide you out. Thank you, folks.